Hello everyone and welcome to Forever Cricket on Forever Sports, and today we're talking about the fact that can South Africa actually win the T20 World Cup next year? And the answer for me is yes. There is no reason that the Proteas as a side, talent-wise, cannot challenge for the T20 the World Cup next year. And I think what we're seeing in the IPL just shows you how much talent there is, and how South Africa still has the best players, some of the best players in the world within their side. And we're going to look at some of the top performers, which are a strong indicator on why next year, if we can get it right, there's no reason why South Africa can't finally sort of break the duck and go all the way. Before we go any further, please make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. Sitting on 120 subscribers or thereabout. We're trying to push to 200 before the end of the month, so please do show your support and hit the subscribe button down below. Smash the like as well and share with your friends so that we can try and grow the channel. So, moving on, the big thing is, and I think it really does come to a one key decision, and that is what is going to happen to AB de Villiers. So AB de Villiers has been in sublime form in the IPL so far, and he's just looked completely back to his best. And we saw his match-winning knock yesterday. You know, where he smashed like 4-6 in the last over to win the match. He's looking like, I don't know what's happened. I mean, we haven't seen de Villiers looking this good in a long time. And, you know, for somebody who's one of the best batsmen of all time, you know, he's kind of never really looked bad, but he just looks like he's a whole different player at the moment. And I don't know if it's a case of lockdown really gave him a chance to sort of settle in, rest, relax, whatever it is. And there's lots of people who are, some people are very pro AB de Villiers at the moment, very anti AB de Villiers. Some people want him back for the T20 World Cup, some people don't. At the end of the day, if we want to have a chance next year, we need to get AB de Villiers playing. And I mean, if you go and look at his performance in the IPL so far, you know, he has played. He currently sits in the 11th in the run making column. So, but don't be put up with that, because I think what we don't understand, if you've been watching the IPL, you'll understand how important his knocks have been. So he's played 9 matches. He's scored 285 runs. Importantly, he's had 4 not out, so he's only gone out 5 times. So, you know, it really shows you how he's, you know, making sure that he's there at the end, and he's, you know, protecting his wicket and becoming a key batsman for the World Challenges. And, you know, whilst Kohli scored more runs, you know, you could argue that de Villiers' contributions have been more vital because he's really stood up when it counts. His high score is 73 not out. He's currently sitting on an average of 57. And a strike rate of 190. He scored almost 280. He scored 285 with almost 2 runs every ball. It's phenomenal. I mean, it is. You look at the rest of the list, and nobody else's strike rate comes anywhere near that. The only person who has above 150. Well, there's 2 people above 150 strike rates. You know, in the top sort of 15, and that is Manyak Agarwal, who's 161, and funny enough, Quinton de Kock, who's sitting at a strike rate of 151. And it just shows you that de Villiers, on his day, will win you matches. And at the end of the day, T20 cricket is a very strange game in that it can be won with 4 individual performances. You look at a test match, you kind of need lots of people to perform. Even more so, I mean, not more so, but even in an ODI, it's not really a sort of a 1-2 player game. T20 cricket can be. One defining knock, one defining bowling performance can win you a match. And that is why, if you look at the performances in the IPL, you know, we can look at 4 or 5 players that could be in the Proteas side next year, which can all win you matches. And, you know, we talk about AB de Villiers, but I'll tell you somebody else who's looked like a completely different player is Faf du Plessis, who's currently sitting on 365 runs with an average of 52, a strike rate of 142, striking really well, and a high score of 87 not out. And that's another massive positive. And I think Faf du Plessis has definitely benefited from the break. I think he was under a lot of pressure, he's under a lot of scrutiny, and I don't think he gets the respect that he actually deserves, you know, because this is somebody who will go down as statistically one of the best batsmen in South African history. You know, he's within the top 10 highest run scorers in all 3 formats. And he's been one of our best ODI players ever, if you look at statistically. But I don't think he gives it enough recognition, because he was always overshadowed by the likes of Hashim Amla and AB de Villiers back in the start of his career. And now, you know, when South African cricket has been so sort of up and down and in turmoil, and, you know, the de Villiers saga and not being able to win a World Cup and stuff like that, he's kind of been there through thick and thin. And as I said, I think there needs to be a lot more respect given to Faf du Plessis. But I think the fact that he's relinquished the captaincy now, taken a step back, he's going to focus on limited overs cricket. If we can get the best out of Faf du Plessis, we've got one of the best batsmen in the world on his day. It's just the same as Quinton de Kock, who struggled initially when it came to the IPL, but they say form is temporary, class is permanent. And he's now sitting on an average of 38, but striking it really well. He has a high score of 78. And at the end of the day, if your top order has Quinton de Kock, AB de Villiers, and Faf du Plessis in it, that's a hell of a top order. And then you obviously have to try and complement that, and whether you bring in the likes of, can Reza Hendricks step up? Is Dave Miller going to be a big part of it? What's going to happen with these sort of players? Aiden Markham, does Aiden Markham come as a T20 player? So there's lots of big calls around that in terms of how you sort of balance those three. But at the end of the day, you need to build your team around a sort of core 5-6 guys. And I tell you, there are two bowlers from the same franchise, and they are Kagiso Rabada and Anrich Nokia. And KG Rabada, the person that needed the rest the most. He has been played into the ground by South Africa cricket because there just hasn't been anybody else. And so we've had to continuously rely on Kagiso Rabada to always step up. And, after a long break and a nice rest, he is back and looking better than ever. He has taken 19 wickets in the IPL so far. The next best is sitting on 13. So he is flying in terms of the purple cap race. An average of 14, strike rate of 11.26, an economy of 7.68, but it has been quite a high scoring tournament. At the end of the day, economy of sort of 6-7 in a T20 is not the worst thing in the world at all. I mean, Trent Boult, who's always such an economic bowler, he's sitting with an economy of sort of 8. So it's only sort of Rashid Khan who's sitting below 6 really, and Chris Morris as well. And Morris is an interesting one because he's always been a T20 specialist really. He never really wanted to become a test match player, I don't think. He was never really willing to put in that defiant effort to really make it in the test arena. But in the T20 arena, he's come good. And I tell you, when you have somebody else who could partner Rabada, who's sending the ball down at 156.2 kilometers per hour, the fastest ball in IPL history, Anrich Nokia is making some big strides in T20 cricket this tournament. He's sitting on 12 wickets, an average of 20, economy of 7.75, and a strike rate of 18. So we've already named 3 bowlers, and one is an all-rounder who can definitely add a bit with the bat, who could also be pivotal. And I also think that, Lungi Ngidi, I mean, we saw what he did against Australia when he was defending that. You've got somebody who's a really good death bowler. So, for me, once again, and as we always say, there is no reason, talent-wise, why South Africa cannot be genuine contenders for the World Cup next year. And I tell you what, with the position that CSA currently is, within all the sort of turmoil, if there was ever a time where we needed to make a statement and needed to go out and win at a big tournament, this was the time. And once again, there's no reason why you can't. You get AB de Villiers fine, you get Faf du Plessis fine, you have Anrich Nokia, Rabada, Chris Morris, Lungi Ngidi, you get them bowling well. Imran Tahir or Shabir Shamsi, you get them bowling well. You can beat any team on their day. You can beat any team on the day, as has always been the case. And I think in the World Cup last year, it just was a team that just didn't click. We had Hashim Amla who was on the way down. Quinton de Kock didn't really come off. Kagiso Rabada just looked exhausted. We didn't have Lungi Ngidi. And it's just, it was just frustrating. Chris Morris really stepped up, but, it was a very average tournament for a lot of players. But I think now, with this rest, I think we might be able to, also with the rest, it means that not everybody's played as much cricket. And thankfully, our domestic season is getting underway soon. And we need to try and capitalize on that. It's not going to be, it's a case of all the players have had time to just sort of put all the sort of bad vibes from the World Cup and all that sort of negativity, and they can just put it aside for a bit. And I think this sort of rejuvenation is exactly what Cricket South Africa needed, the team rather than the organisation. So let me know in the comments if you think that South Africa can finally do it. I certainly think, and I think we all agree, that they've got the talent, but can they really just finally put everything aside? Has this break helped them, and can they finally sort of gel together the team for one tournament and bring home a trophy? Let me know what you think in the comments. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Lots of cool content coming up as well. Jump in the comments and let me know what you'd like to see as well. Always open to suggestions. We are for the fans, by the fans, after all. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've had a fantastic weekend and all the best for the week that is to come.